What is going on, everybody? It is great to be back with you. This is the Colin Thompson Show. This is your host, Colin Thompson, brought to you by Not For Long Media. I appreciate everybody tuning in here. We are going live Monday morning before popping into the facility here for a short week against your Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, a tough loss this week for us in Carolina against Cincinnati, but we are moving on. It is Thursday Night Football. You have to flush it and move on as soon as possible, and that's what we plan to do against Atlanta, who we dropped the game to less than a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, it feels like. We played Atlanta in Atlanta and lost in overtime on a dramatic play to tie it with DJ Moore, PJ Walker, 60-something yards down the field. Lost in OT and then went to Cincinnati and lost. And now we are back and we're playing Atlanta at home, and huge impact on our division. So trying to control what we can control, focus on what we can focus on. That's the cliches in the sports world, but really fact, especially now more than ever in our situation. So we're going to keep pounding, keep moving forward, and a huge divisional game for us here on Thursday night in prime time football. Again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Lots to discuss here, Not For Long Media. Guys, we're a media company, and I'm going to talk about somebody we're adding to the family here, but we have multiple podcasts here at our show. Geez, with Harry Mays and Jason Martinez, two Philly sports talk radio legends. Multiple podcasts with them, radio shows that they're really big media people in Philadelphia. We have Breaking Bats with Brian O'Grady and Justin Ayers, covering everything baseball, everything you need to listen to. They do an amazing job. Brian plays professional baseball, multiple years in the MLB, last year in Japan, and hoping to come back this year to the MLB again. We have Two Girls, One League with our friends all over the country, I should say. Alex is in Tampa, Rossi's in Philly, in LA, Sil is in Philly, Paige is in Baltimore, just talking all things football. Again, Two Girls, One League, an awesome show, a just all women show. That's how we wanted it to be on here. And then my show the Colin Thompson Show. We have a military show coming, but really a show we're really, really, really excited about to get to is really breaking news and Not For Long Media. And that is the Samboner Show, brought to you by Not For Long Media. That is coming soon. The Samboners, some people that follow me on Instagram get to see what we're doing with them. In the past, we weren't working together, but I really appreciated the brand, enjoyed the brand, and really liked what they were doing. So Mick McKenzie and the team over at the Samboners kind of reached out to me. We've stayed in touch through some friends, and they asked if we could do something together. So we're going to do something together. What the Samboners are, guys, it's kind of hard to explain, but essentially what the Samboners are, and then fireworks are going off behind me here in 8 a.m. in rural North Carolina, because they're excited about the Samboner Show too, is a food sandwich, just kind of fun party on Instagram. So a Sambone is someone who eats sandwiches, rates them. The Samboners are just a group of sandwich eaters, connoisseurs, cheesesteaks, roast porks. They're eating wings too. They're rating different things. They have different months throughout the year where people are sending in videos. They have a huge following. Check them out. These Samboners, awesome t-shirts, awesome logo. And really, Mick is an awesome guy who runs it. One of the people who operate the social media accounts and kind of runs the show. Mick McKenzie is an awesome guy, and the Samboner Show is going to be joining us here at Not For Long Media. So that's breaking news for us. We're really excited about that. Mick and I always talk. He's like, people try to say, Mick, explain Samboners. He doesn't know how to explain it. I don't know how to either. It is a cult following of eating sandwiches, rating, and just sharing it out and having the kind of the ins and outs and the slogans and the lingo and all the things that come with the kind of the Philly stuff. But we're going to go nationwide with it. They've already done that. Kind of part of our partnership is trying to continue to grow what they're doing, grow what we're doing. It's a win-win. I've always tried to get the food, travel, booze. You guys know that I do the bar of the week. I'm always talking about food, where have we been. So yeah, the Samboner Show is going to be joining us here. Mick McKenzie, one of the founders, is going to be joining us here at the end of this opening to my show. We're going to do that recording a little bit later on the Tuesday. But Just awesome. I'm just jacked. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's going to be another addition to our fifth, sixth podcast here with Breaking Bats, OGs, Two Girls, One League, brought to light with Mario Breu's Coming the Military Show, and then my show, the Colin Thompson Show. We're going to be looking at 5, 6 shows here, all a not for long meeting, touching a little bit of what everybody's interested in. Kind of a one-stop shop is kind of what we're trying to create here at Not for Long. So I appreciate everybody's support. And again, guys, I think you're going to absolutely love the Mick McKenzie interview. Mick Mixon is the former play-by-play man for the Carolina Panthers, but the Mick McKenzie interview is freaking awesome, and I really think you're going to enjoy it. So I digress. Okay, lots to talk about here. There's a lot going on in the world, but really, I'm going to start off with Bus One. Okay, you guys know our Bus One members on the show. For those that are just joining us and just tuning in, because I know we have some new listeners, and I really appreciate you guys. Bus One is when you're traveling to a game, and I'm what the Carolina Panthers say. I'm on bus 4 with the Panthers, right? I'm in the NFL. I'm on the practice squad, active roster, bottom of the roster guy. You're on bus 4. The starters, the GM, the head coach, they're on bus 1, right? They're leading us into battle. So for me, if you're doing something good in this world, if you're a great person, if you're having success, a team, a person, whatever it may be, you're a Bus One member. So we have Bus One, and it's sponsored by the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. If you don't know them, you should. Just like our friends over Wealth Advisory Services. Fudgekitchens.com. They ship fudge and sweet treats across the country. There's nothing better on a birthday. Like we gave George a box of fudge last week for his birthday. Everybody knows National George that listens. At least our local friends do. There is nothing better than on your birthday or on Christmas or on a holiday than sending somebody a box of fudge, right? Like, what am I going to get somebody? You can't send somebody a cake. You can't send somebody a pie over the holidays. You can. I mean, it's just super expensive for shipping, and how good's the quality? I tell you this, I say it all the time in the show. The fudge lasts fresh for 2 weeks. I've pushed it a little bit longer than I'm not going to say. Probably legally is not good to say, but I pushed it a couple weeks past that. And because of the wax paper, it keeps it so fresh. It keeps it so moist. It does not dry. It does not harden. The original Fudge Kitchen locations, stopping by the Jersey Shore. Those listening, they know all about the Fudge Kitchen. All about the Fudge Kitchen. Unbelievable work, what they got going on there. So an unbelievable local business, 50 years local business. And they're trying to take it another 50. So again, fudgekitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. It's the official sponsor of our Bus One, fudgekitchens.com. So a new Bus One member, a gentleman I met this week, Andrew, the locker room equipment manager in Cincinnati. This guy is an absolute legend. First off, Andrew, appreciate you listening. Andrew drives for UPS. And then on the weekends in Cincinnati home games, he is getting the away locker room ready to go for the away team to come in. So he's unloading the buses when the equipment managers show up on Saturday. So those that don't know, the equipment managers show up the day before. They get the thing set up. They get the locker room set up, the bus with all the preemptive stuff that comes in. And then when the night before the game, when we fly in, there's more stuff coming from the equipment. So our helmets, everything we had for practice on Friday and Saturday, that's coming in. So another round of things. So he's getting the equipment room ready to go. He's getting the training room ready to go. He's getting the locker room ready to go. And it's a part of his job working for Cincinnati and kind of the organization there. So he's been the away locker room now for decades. His dad did it before in the old stadium. So he kind of grew up doing this. So you walk into this is for players listening to the show. This is for people that are in football listening to the show that are looking for something a little bit different. This is incredible. This is like old history of football. There's football players, there's football coaches, and there's like football nerds. And when you go in here and you're a football nerd and you really enjoy the history of the game and the stories that come behind it, the backstories behind it, not just, this player on the field did this, but the real stuff, what happens behind the closed doors when the media is not really in there. I always encourage people to tell people this, and it's not a slight at media, but 10 to 20% of the stuff's true that comes out of a locker room. I firmly believe that. I've seen it over the years. That's kind of the percentage I've kind of weaned with. 10% of everything's true. 10 to 20% of everything's true that comes out of a team or locker room. There may be a thought or a word in there that may be true, but not the whole blanket statement. There's always more to the story. So that's just kind of inner workings of the locker room. So Andrew, Bus One member, a great guy. You walk into the equipment room on the road, and you look to your right, there's a door that opens, and the door that opened kind of covers up the door where Andrew's at, and that's like his little office in there. And you go in, and it's got every signature you can imagine when it comes to the elite of the elite in the football world on the wall right there. Jim Brown, Mean Joe Green, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, and all the stories that come with it. I don't think Mean Joe actually signed the wall. Just some good stories from the old days there. Sorry, Andrew, I'm fact check myself here. But Mike Tomlin, like just legends of the game are on that wall. And it's really, really just impressive and cool to see. He's got all the old stickers from all the old coaches that have come through there and players. And, on our locker, we have a sticker with our name and number, and somebody leaves it and they'll slap it on a locker in there. It's an old school place. It's cool. It's not like Andrew and I talked about. NFL's changed a lot, right? They've just publicly, the world's changed. So got to really kind of change how business is done too, behind closed doors. It's, a little less old school, but still fun as heck. Great to be in there and sit down with Andrew and pick his brain. He's a Bus One member this week. Unbelievable inside of the NFL stuff that I never really saw before. Just telling old stories about Peyton Manning coming in and sitting down before games when they'd play him in the preseason every year. And, Dan Marino coming in and just talking about, hey, I got a couple beers because my knees are sore today. Just really cool stories. To Aaron Rodgers coming in just being the greatest guy ever, from Andrew's lips to your ear. So really cool. And again, our Bus One member this week, Andrew, the locker room equipment manager in Cincy. I digress. Another Bus One member this week. I got to give it to the Houston Astros, obviously winning the World Series, an unbelievable series. Something in Philly that I think everyone's a little frustrated with, but I really think you just faced the best team in baseball, handed them their only 2 losses in the playoffs, handing them a loss going into the playoffs as well in the 3-game homestand that was in Houston. And listen, to me, I just think Philly ran out of gas. They didn't have the pitching, the mass amount of pitching. They have great pitching, probably at the top end of it, some depth in the bullpen, but not like Houston, not like the Dodgers, not like some of these teams that have just depth and depth and depth. So I just think that, I got to give Houston Astros, put them on the Bus One this week. Game 1, up 5-0. Philly comes storming back, makes it 6-5. I mean, unbelievable magic for the Phillies. But again, the cream rises to the top. I think Philly is right there, an unbelievable run. But at the end of the day, they just could not keep up with the Houston Astros. Astros took game 2. Philly took game 3 with all those home runs in Philly. And then, the wheels fell off a little bit there. Astros stole the 3rd game of the homestand there, and then they won game 6 in Houston, which I always like. To me, I think if a team's going to beat your team in the World Series or in something, they win it at home. They get to enjoy it at home for those players, for those families. They're in Houston. They get to party all night, have a great time. So again, I'm a player, and obviously the NFL is just so weird for me to say. So I'm always going to root for players, coaches, families, been able to experience some of that. So I'm going to root for them. If they're going to win, great. Go enjoy it in front of your fans and your crowd. It's nothing like it. So, all the cheating stuff and all that stuff, it's so overblown really to me. I mean, obviously it happened years ago. There's some things, but there's been cheating in baseball forever. Is it cheating? Is it a part of the game? What's going on? I don't know, but I think it's still a great quality product. I'm always going to have my beef with the MLB of how they've handled things and growing the game. But props to Houston too. Put Houston School District in there too. All those kids are getting off for the parade, which is a really cool way to grow the game. No one went to school when the Phillies won the parade. They should have just gave everybody a day off and give an opportunity for young fans to go and support it. I had my beef with the MLB earlier in the season because they weren't really putting games in prime time. They're trying to spread the games out throughout the whole day. And I get it, the MLB, day baseball, but I have one game at 1. They'd have like a game at 1, a game at 3, a game at 5. Like, I don't know. It's a Tuesday in October. Kids are in school. I just didn't appreciate the way MLB handled some of their TV stuff. I just think it could be a better way to grow the game. World Series, awesome product. The NLDS, awesome product. But to me, if it's like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. on the West Coast and kids are trying to watch the game and grow the game, their favorite players, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, whatever it may be, and they can't watch them, I don't know. It's tough. You got to come home and ask mom and dad how the game went. Mom and dad have to work. Most people are working, blue collar, white collar, whatever it may be, cater to those fans and make it happen. So I digress. I'm all over the place per usual. Houston Astros bus one this week. Houston School District for giving the kids off. Love that as well. Bus one members. Andrew, Cincinnati bus one members. And my last bus one member, Rob Thompson, the Phillies manager, catching a lot of heat now because he pulled Wheeler after pitching really well. And people are jumping on him in Philly for all this stuff, and it's kind of annoying on my part, but it's a part of Philly. It's what makes Philly great, right? I think people say, "Oh, Philly fans, all this stuff." Well, their teams are good for an obvious reason because of the immense amount of pressure it takes, or people will not show up to games. People will not support. Philly's games have been vacant, and especially the regular season. They haven't been in the playoffs in years, decade, but. I mean, the place will be packed next year. They'll have them huge sellouts. It will be like the old days where I grew up, and for that 5-6 years from 06 to whatever, they were just on fire. And it was just an incredible atmosphere in baseball. So Rob Thompson, bus one member this week, Canadian, which is awesome. Great way to grow the game up there. Obviously, there's a franchise up there in Toronto, but how many Canadian players are in the MLB? Coaches are in the MLB. He took over the team when Joe Girardi it just didn't work out. They let him go. 65 and 46. Flipped the team around. Was on pace if he was the head, to be the head guy the whole year, to have a great season. But I think what really cool with me is how they handled the media, how they handled kind of everything after the loss, how they partied after big wins. Rob Thompson, they handed Houston their only 2 losses in the entire playoffs. Houston swept the Mariners. Houston swept the Yankees. So a really good team, and Philly came back and beat them twice. So, it's props to them. I know there's no moral victories, but man, oh man, really impressed by that. But Blake Wheeler, said he was caught off guard when he got pulled out. And I think the coolest part with me when Rob Thompson, like no drama, no BS, was like, yeah, he should be. He should be. He was pitching really well. I just went with my gut, and it didn't pay out for us. So I respect that. No drama, no BS. Everyone's on the same page. Yes, he's surprised, but Rob Thompson, no drama to it. Yeah, I should have messed that up. So, I maybe shouldn't have made that decision. Maybe I should have, whatever it was. But if he pitches really well and he performs, then, hey, what's, the guys that come in behind Blake, is it really that big of a deal? No. So they got to come in and do their job too. Another bus one member this week, we keep going on here. I'm checking my notes. I'm not doing my math correctly. Is really the Philadelphia sports fans. I mean, just out of control. It's the heyday in the city right now, as some will say. Absolute chaos with the Eagles being, top 1-2 team in the NFL. I think it's safe to say still the only undefeated team. The Sixers are starting. Probably have the best player in the NBA on their court, one of them. Flyers, who are supposed to be horrible, are doing great. One of the top teams in the conference, top teams in the division. I think they have 6 wins. Carter Hart's early season MVP candidate. Really well what Tortorella's done. And then, the MLS, the Philadelphia Union lost in the championship. And then you have, the Phillies, who kind of barely made the playoffs, wild card spot, and went on an unbelievable run to hand Houston, like I said, their only 2 losses. So Philly fans have been tremendous. I love the videos of making all the Houston Astros fans, the wine and cheese crowd, all upset. That's fantastic to me. The more of that, the better. Philly is the best sports city in the world. I am from there, but I am not a fan of all teams, as I've played in a league where we face one of the teams. I just didn't grow up an Eagles fan. I supported the team from afar and definitely supported the team as my family all did, but I just grew up really an NFL fan. So it was really fun to watch kind of Philly just go crazy around it, because there's nothing like it. It affects the whole area. It affects, my mom is in retail, and she's calling me saying, like, the Eagles and Phillies being successful, these places are packed down here in Cape May. The town's buzzing like it never does. It feels like this year or that year in comparison. So I'll always support Philly sports teams because it ends up helping my mom and her business and all the businesses in Philly. Really, it keeps people thriving. It keeps people happy, and there's a lot of success there. So a lot of Bus One members, Andrew, the equipment manager, and Cincy, Houston Astros, Rob Thompson, and Philly fans. So, guys, I'm going to throw some people under the bus, though. You have to. I'm going to take a little coffee break here for a second, so hold on. Doing the show by myself. It takes just as long when I do it with somebody else, because I digress a million times and I go all over the place. And appreciate you guys your patience with me. You're just listening to my voice instead of at least Jackie tuning in every once in a while. We're missing Jack. We're missing Jack, but he's absolutely killing it what he's got going on. Okay, Under the Bus, guys, brought to you by Mi Amici, the best Italian food in the Charlotte area. I love it. Family business. Come on. You cannot support it. People go to these other chain restaurants around here, and I just really can't believe it. It's a big chain restaurant area. I'm just like, you're not Mi Amici. It's cheaper. It's more affordable. The people are unbelievable. Great TVs, great places to hang out and just talk to the locals, eat a great meal, the chicken parm, the soups, the salads. They have healthy options. They have heavier options. I love their salmon. It's the best. It's the best. You guys hear me talking about it this week, this week and every week. Mi Amici, the official sponsor of the Colin Thompson Show, Not For Long Media, and the official sponsor of our segment, Under the Bus. Go tell our friends at Mi Amici. Go tell Nick. Go tell Kimmy, the group there, the servers, really awesome people and all local. Fresh ingredients. My wife was saying this week, their salad is the freshest salad I've ever had. Like Nick hand picks the lettuce. He's like pulling it out of the ground pretty much. So again, our Under the Bus segment is brought to you by Mi Amici. Listen, I'm throwing the entire clickbait mafia under the bus. Under the bus. So like Dan Orlovsky tweeting that Reese's peanut butter cups are the worst in the world. That's a clickbait to me. I respect Dan. I think he does a great job with ESPN, but that is clickbait, Dan. That is absolute clickbait to think that that's the worst candy in the world. Again, it's opinion. I hear you, but if someone doesn't like a food group, they can still acknowledge that, hey, seafood is really good. I just don't like it. Whatever that may be. I like everything pretty much. Very few things I don't like, but that's clickbait mafia there. The clickbait mafia that kind of got me started on this, though, was the Baker Mayfield playing defensive line stuff. So Baker Mayfield in a practice the other day, PJ Walker was a starting quarterback. I don't know, any of that stuff moving forward, but my point is in practice, PJ was a quarterback. There's a walkthrough, there's film of Baker like getting a 3-point stance, just showing kind of a technique look, messing around with the offensive line. And like people are going crazy. I'm getting texts about it. I had someone actually call me about it. Is Baker moving to D-line? Like, what is going on? And that's my point about with the media, like 10% of the truth. Like, what do you mean? Like, because of some video in practice, because the media is only allowed to be there for the individual period and the walkthrough period of practice. So they see that and film that. And it's like, look at Baker. But people do that stuff all the time, just being fun, just being a good teammate, just chopping it up with the guys. So clickbait mafia, that blowing up, that was pretty funny to me. All right, Under the Bus again, brought to you by Mi Amici. I got to throw Philly media and their fans under the bus. So I just was pumping them up, but now I'm going to pump them way back down, kind of slash their tires and bring them all the way back down. So WIP tweets this morning, who's to blame? Who's to blame for the Phillies' loss? And it wasn't like, it was just players like Reese Hoskins, Rob Thompson, the coach, like in a poll. And I get it, guys. I get it. I'm a media company. I'm trying to sell sponsorships and do all this stuff too. But really, that's the conversation. Who blew it? Guys, they're facing the Houston Astros, the best team in baseball. People can argue some other teams have better rosters, but the best team, kind of cheating aside or whatever you guys want to say, that happened 5-6 years ago at this point. They're really kind of a dynasty in the making in baseball with great pitching and great players and great development and stud, but Dusty Baker, a great player in his own right, a great manager in his own right. I've been to games there, an unbelievable ballpark, great fan. So I don't know, man. Like, I get it. Just saying great, Houston's a good team. It's not going to sell marketing, but to blame somebody, you heard Bryce Harper say, we're going to retool, we're going to reload. We're going to have to reload up on some players, add some pieces in his post-game press conference. That's not on the coach. That's not on the players. It's on the front office, and they did an amazing job assembling the team this year. It's a step in the right direction. I saw Kevin Cooney saying something too, like there's going to be more to come from this team, multiple World Series opportunities. So they're going to go out and get guys. They're also going to be really coveted. You don't think players are sitting at home that are free agents watching this and saying, I think I could take a discount to go to Philly because this team's really cool. The home field advantage is tremendous. It's a great area to live in. Lots and lots of people come to me in this league. Like when I lived in Philly, my wife loved it in Cherry Hill. My wife loved it in Marlton. My family's loved it in living in Bucks County or in Delaware and driving up, whatever it may be, Westchester. There's great place to live in Philly. Great golf, great things to do in the off season. Airport's right there. The Jersey Shore's right there. So a lot of pro athletes love living there. It's a big city, but it's not New York City or Chicago, so it's easier to get around. So yeah, Philly will be back. I'm throwing you guys under the bus for absolutely just like finding someone to pick on. That's just it's just what's going to be all the way till spring training. Like, is Rob Thompson going to make the right pitching decision? The guy pressed the right buttons the entire year, and you can argue if things went well in the World Series, he would have pressed the right buttons then too. So, yeah, Clickbait Mafia, you're under the bus. Philly media and the fans with some of their stuff blaming people. I get it. You have to. That's the pressure it takes to be great, but you're under the bus too, for that matter. Again, brought to you by me, Michi. Everybody who's under the bus is brought to you by me, Michi. If you're having a bad day, you're under the bus, go to me and Michi. They're closed on Mondays, but every other day they're open and they're kicking ass. I love their lunch too. They just have the best pancakes in town. Loving what's going on. And me, Amici. Another coffee break here and another break from you listening to my voice. Insert coffee sponsor here. Again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Usually I have a co-host, but it's kind of fun and different doing it by myself. Okay, matchups this week brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services, wealthadvisoryservices.com. If you don't know them, you should, just like the original Fudge Kitchen. Guys, Wealth Advisory Services, they've been a sponsor of ours here at Not For Long Media for a while. They really have. They've been unbelievable to me and my family and my wife, buying a new house, buying a new car. I want to buy a boat. I don't think they're going to let me buy a boat, but just very blessed to work with a media company, work with a finance company like Wealth Advisory Services. Paul and Dave and their team, over 100 years of experience. They work with people across the country. They're located in Doylestown, Bucks County, in Cape May, New Jersey. But again, they work with people all over the country. Reach out to me, just advice. They give me just awesome advice on what to do. Whether I'm, cutting them a check and I'm saying, hey, this is what I want to do investment-wise, they're going to send an email back, X, Y, Z. Here's what we suggest. Here's how we should navigate this. We should put the money into the market. We should pull the money out of the market. We should X, Y, Z. It is planned. It is like a game plan in football, done months in advance, weeks in advance, days in advance, and then through the game, through the day. If something needs to go on, they're going to pull your money out or make a decision. Wealth Advisory Services does it. They've done it for me. They've done it for my family. They've allowed us to do some unbelievable things, Sydney and I. 401k, they manage businesses as well. Just really an awesome group I've been fortunate enough to work with. All of our matchups here at the Colin Thompson Show are brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services. Our first matchup is Panthers-Falcons. I'm going to run through these quick. Panthers-Falcons, we had an unbelievable game. It was the game of the NFL 2 weeks ago. Obviously, I think I'm going to sit here and say I think we should have won. I think Atlanta's probably sitting here saying that Carolina should have won, but they stole one, and we're going to try to steal one this week. Right, that's obvious. So really excited for Thursday Night Football, for prime time, for our guys to show out there and kind of show what team you are. I think our record, you are who you are. You are what your record is, but that's not a reflection of our team. We have a really good team, a well-coached team, and I think we're going to be able to show that here on National Football moving forward. So really looking forward to the Panthers-Falcons game this week at home in Charlotte in prime time. It's going to be fun. We've got a little high school football here on the matchups. Our first, I believe, high school football matchup. Guys, it's Central Bucks East for Central Bucks West. It happened last week. Back-to-back weeks they played. CB East, my hometown in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. They didn't have lights for years. They hosted a night game 2 Fridays ago. West won in a closer game. And then this past Friday, CB West played him again in the first round of the playoffs, beat him, beat him pretty good, and I think doubled him up in the score, and they're moving on to now face North Penn. So CB West and North Penn, a big rivalry in our area where I grew up. Check out The Last Game, which is an unbelievable documentary about Central Bucks West and their dominance of being one of the top teams in the country over really just decades, from like the 60s to like 2010, CB West football was just really dominant in the area. Mike Pettin Jr., Mike Carey, and then you have coaches like Dick Beck, who've been at North Penn forever. Mike Pettin Jr. was an NFL head coach. He was the head coach of North Penn, I think, before Dick. So this is going to be an awesome game. You probably can stream it. It's going to be packed. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be like old school Southeastern PA high school football, public schools, where really the transition has happened now to private schools in Southeastern PA because of recruiting and players deciding where they want to go. Just like I decided to go to Archbishop Wood because it was the right opportunity for me as a student and as an athlete. So it's changed the way. So this is kind of an old school football battle. East versus West was 2 weeks ago and last week, but now West versus North Penn. Guys, it's going to be unbelievable. Southeastern Pennsylvania is now taken over the state of PA, in my opinion. loaded players. Kyle Pitts, DeAndre Swift, Marvin Harrison Jr. every week. Every week. Raheem Blackshear with us, Ryan Bates. We have 6 players that are from Archbishop Wood in the NFL, I think, or 5 players. I think the prep may have 5 or 6. I know LaSalle High School has 5 or 6. So we're talking just, 15 and odd players between those 3 schools. The public school system's great. The private school system's great. It produces a lot of talent, a lot of coaches across the NFL, all from CB West. This kind of Mike Pettin Sr. started it, really started youth football in the area. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of success now, because it trickled down to youth football, and then in the 7th and 8th grade middle school football, and then in the high school football. And the pressure to have success in that area and what it can do for kids and coaches is huge. So I think, that's why you have a lot of players now coaches now that have moved on to higher levels, because of just how pressure it was through the 80s, through the 90s, through the early 2000s. And you're seeing a lot of these kids and coaches pop out of it from Southeastern PA. So again, the matchup this week is CB West is going to CB West versus North Penn. Check that out. An awesome rivalry. Some games I'm just going to run through real quick. You got the Bills and Vikings this weekend. That's going to be an awesome game. The Vikings coming off a big win in Washington, and then the Bills coming off a loss to the Jets. Going to be a great game, something to keep an eye on. We have a Thursday night game, so I'll be watching the games on Sunday. Little hockey talk. NBA and hockey are going to come to the forefront during the week. Obviously, football is like a 6-day-a-week thing anyway. Now the action's back. The Flames and the Blues on Thursday. I got Penguins Caps on Wednesday. Flames and Blues on Thursday. Check that out. Got the Penguins and Leafs. And then you have the Lightning and the Caps on Friday, both 2 great games. Then you have the Flyers on Saturday versus Senators. Claude Giroux will be coming back to Philly. He played 1,000 games in Philly. He was captain in Philly for a while. He scored his 300th career goal the other day against Philly in Ottawa. So the Senators come back. Saturday, 1:00 game. I have fond memories of my dad taking me down to the 1:00 game as a kid. And really just enjoying those moments with him, and grabbing breakfast and going down to the game, and then getting lunch and hanging out, and everything's around food with me. Just great memories, really great memories. And I think there'll be some kids and their dads and moms or whomever going to a game this week that will create those memories for them. The Flyers are a really solid team now. Things have turned around, I think, quicker than people expect. Who knows how long it's going to last, but props to the Fly guys. It's been an awesome run. Really curious to see how it's going to all pan out for them. But again, Flyers on Saturday versus Senators. Claude Giroux back in Philly for the first time after wearing a different jersey. Maybe he played in Florida may have came back to Philly. Maybe they didn't. I don't remember last year. So again, guys, matchups are all brought to you by our friends over Wealth Advisory Services, the best financial advisors in the world. Everybody says that, but I don't know, the personal relationships I was able to establish with them, they just can't be beat. They're just great people over there. 100 years of experience in their offense. Unbelievable. Guys, we're going to pour some out as we wrap up here. We're going to pour some out for all the haters, all of the haters in the NHL world, the hockey world, that were like, what is the NHL doing? Yes, it's a little dysfunctional what's going on in Arizona. They don't have their own arena. I get it. They don't have 15,000 seats. It's a mess. They were out in Glendale before, and the players would have to drive an hour from downtown all the way out to games. But now they're right down in downtown. Phoenix, I think kind of the Scottsdale area, or I forget where Arizona State was. I had it written down, but we're moving forward. Essentially, all of the Arizona, not the Phoenix Coyotes, what they used to be, the Arizona Coyotes hockey games are going to be played at Arizona State, 5,000 seats. Well, all reports were a success. Obviously, the locker room situation, they're building new locker rooms for away NHL teams. The NHL players cannot use the Sun Devils. I think NCAA-wise, you can't mix pro and NHL, pro and in college, excuse me. So the Sun Devils arena, they're playing all their games there, which is crazy. 5,000 seats for a pro franchise. But I think it leads to a really cool environment. There's a student section. There's a band. There's the high level tickets. The boxes are packed, and it's a big party. So I think it's a big party. It's a big mix up. Listen, Arizona Coyotes are in a rebuild anyways. They're trying to tank for the best player in the world, kind of the next Crosby type situation. So it should be interesting to see what goes on there. 3 years, they're building a new arena downtown, it looks like. So it should all work out for them. It's going to take some time, and there's going to be some hurdles to go over, but I think it's pretty cool. We're going to pour some out. for our friends that thought, hey, listen, this isn't going to work. This is freaking stupid. I think it's a cool atmosphere. We talked about it on here before. So, guys, we're pouring some out. We're pouring Som Sleep out. We're pouring it right down the gullet because it's the best way to fall asleep. Guys, check them out. Som Sleep. Use promo code Colin for 10% off. Guys, it's the best sleep product. Everyone's trying to find a way to sleep better. No bones about it. Go to bed earlier. You're trying to go to bed early, but you can't do it because you want to watch an extra episode of whatever on Netflix. Just drink that in the beginning of the episode. About 30 minutes in, you're going to really start getting tired. You're not going to hit next episode. You're going to want to go to bed. And that's been the best thing for me as someone who wants to escape a little bit outside the office and watch another episode or two. You got to check out our friends over at Som Sleep. Get Som Sleep. Put you to sleep, keeps you asleep, helps you rise and kick ass the next day. Som Sleep, promo code Colin. Okay. This is weird talking to myself here for 35 minutes. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in. We're going to send it over to Mick McKenzie and the Samboners here shortly. But before we do, I want to talk about our bar of the week. Going to talk about our bar of the week. It is Tony's Steakhouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay, so Gio Ricci, our tight end, our fullback, number 45, Carolina Panthers, absolute stud, Western Michigan, row the boat. Become a great friend. We came in here the first year in Carolina. Gio was undrafted at Western Michigan and has really just blossomed in one of the best fullback tight ends combos in the NFL. Just an absolute stud on special teams, catching the ball, fullback stuff. Just an absolute stud, a great guy. Him and his wife, Logan, are expecting to pretty soon in about a month. So really happy for them as well. It's been great. He's become one of my good friends here with the Panthers. But we've had the opportunity now in Indianapolis when we joined practice with them 2 years ago, and then to go to Tony's Steakhouse there and then go to his father's steakhouse again, Tony, in Cincinnati this past week when we played the Bengals. A fantastic meal where we were able to hang out at Tony's. This place is incredible. Guys, they have steakhouses in Lexington, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and coming soon in Bowling Green. Check that out. It's first class. First off, the steaks are off the wall good. Bottom line, I had to bring some steak seasoning back. Sydney was texting me about it. Off the wall good. Second off, family business. Tony's a first-generation Italian immigrant. Unbelievable story of coming over here as a young boy and really get into the restaurant business. Again, Tony's Steakhouse, bar of the week this week at the Colin Thompson Show. Guys, they have a cigar lounge, outside, but it's inside with a fire pit. Really cool kind of vibe. They have a screen and porch where you can eat outside on nice nights, and then it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful venue. The bar is awesome. Awesome high top tables. Great service. It's just a really cool atmosphere of a old school steakhouse, but with new and fresh flair. And it's not stuffy. It's fun. It's a great date night spot there. It's families there. There's people there. And we had about 30 coaches and players from the team over there hanging out. So thanks for Carolina for doing that for us. Thanks for Tony's Steakhouse for doing that for us. Our bar of the week this week. Again, it's not a bar per se, but there is a bar in there, and it's fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Absolutely love what they got going on there, Tony. So here comes the rating. Food and ambiance, it's a 5 out of 5. The place is tremendous. The food is tremendous. The apps, the steaks, the steak rub, everything is freaking great. They have a little bit of everything on the menu: steak, seafood, pasta. It's really good. Food and ambiance, 5 out of 5. TVs, 4 out of 5. You're going there for steaks, really not even to watch the game, but they still have good TVs. You can smoke a cigar outside, watch the game on the TV right above the fireplace. Really, really cool. Really cool stuff. The beers are 4 out of 5. Did not drink this trip. I didn't drink last trip, but from people I've talked to, I know the beers were cold. The service is a 5 out of 5. The staff there is tremendous. Tony, the manager, and the owner, and Gio's dad. Fantastic ship that he runs there. The people are great, super nice. So again, 18 out of 20. 18 out of 20 for the bar of the week this week. Tony's Steakhouse, located in Lexington, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Bowling Green coming to. This is not a chain, folks. This is a family-owned business, just freaking kicking ass and taking names. Again, Tony's Steakhouse. Check them out if you're in those areas. Shout out to our friends, Actions Over Words Apparel, where they're donating proceeds back to the charity of their choice, depending on the month. I know it was Breast Cancer Awareness Month last month. They were donating to that. Looking forward to see what they're donating this month in November. So, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in, hearing me ramble here for the last 40 minutes. Lots to cover in the sports world, and I'm happy to talk to you guys and appreciate you guys tuning in. I think you're really going to love Mick McKenzie and what we got going on here with the Samboner Show moving forward. It's going to be a lot of fun We're going to be interviewing just tons of people, featuring cities of places to go eat. You don't need to hear anything, and you're sick of hearing from me at this point. Guys, we're going to send it over to Mick McKenzie with the Samboners and the Samboner Show. Finally made it, folks. This episode of the Colin Thompson Show is also doubling up as a not-for-long media production. We are introducing Mick McKenzie, the Samboners, and our newest show here at Not For Long Media, the Samboner Show. How does that make you feel, Mick?
Feels great, man. Feels great. It's been a long time coming.
It has, man. It has. We are so excited to have the Samboners be a part of Not For Long Media. People are saying, what is the Samboners? I did the introduction to this on my Colin Thompson Show. This will double up as episode 0 for the Samboner Show. Just an introduction of what's to come with the show. But I think I have to jump right into it, Mick. I tried to answer this earlier. I couldn't answer what the Samboners are on my show. I had all my prep done. I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, what are the Samboners? I've done a couple of reviews for those that follow me on Instagram. I've done reviews. I'm eating this food. I'm rating it. I got the slogan down a little bit. I got the slang here. I get my Philly accent comes out more. But I'll ask you, man, one of the founders of the Samboners, Mick, what is the Samboners?
Dude, that's so funny, man. I'll start off by just saying this because this just came to my head. We're at Citizens Bank Park. Unfortunately, for Game 5, the Phils lost, but we're walking through the concourse. It's me, my brother Joe, Samboner Pat, my buddy Myers, and we're just walking through and a couple shout outs here and there. And we're walking along for like 5-6 minutes, and this one dude out of nowhere goes, "Yo, Samboners!" I go, "Yo, what's up, man?" And his girlfriend turns over to him and goes, "What the hell, Samboners?" And he goes, "I have no idea, but I love it." And great, that's been the beauty of it all, right? There's always been that curiosity piece. I mean, this is something that 6 of us, including myself, started back in 2019, March of 2019. We started to videotape ourselves reviewing sandwiches. And, for the longest time, these 6 guys are some of my greatest friends. One of them is my brother. Another one happens to be my cousin, Kev, Fried Uns down in South Carolina. We've been texting and talking about sports and food for forever, dude. And we got to a point, again, March 2019, where Kev kind of, voiced his opinion like, dude, what are we doing? We're constantly sending pictures to each other. And yeah, obviously talking about all the great hoagie and cheesesteak spots and so forth. But like, what are we going to do? We're going to continue to do this, or are we going to evolve around continuing to send sandwich or pictures of sandwiches and so forth? So this one day he's like, dude, let's just go out to your next sandwich joint, whatever you get, whether it be a hoagie, a hot roast pork, and do a quick 20-30 second video and just highlight the place, right? We're like, yeah, all right, cool. So Fried Uns went out there and did it at Matt and Marie's the one day. I think I went out the next day and went to Stockyard. I actually looked at the video not too long ago. I'm sitting there with a triple chin. I got a winter coat on. I'm eating some roast pork sandwich. I'm like, dude, what am I doing? I was a fat mess, but whatever. It was at the end of the day, I'm like, that was kind of fun. So we started to just send these videos back to one another. And they went from 15 seconds and within 4 months, they turned into 5-6 minute videos. Right. So, over time, we started to develop this this certain lingo, right? So it started with the sandwich being the Sambo, right? And then we all of a sudden started to become Samboners. And before you know it, we were out there Samboning. And the whole tagline, "Take a look, take a bite," that started to come organic too. We had to go back to a couple videos, and there were some videos that some of us said "take a look," and there were some other videos where some of us said "take a bite." And then the one video my brother said it, "take a look, take a bite." And we were like, holy shit. And then even fast forward there, when Kev went out and did the first video, he's walking down the street and he's like, "I don't know about you guys, but I got a big Samboner right now. I'm at Matt and Marie's in Logan Square." I'm looking at Pat dude, this is freaking funny, man. This is so funny. So, sadly enough, it took us 16 months to grow a set and, put it out to the public internet. And, the reason we did that is because, family and friends knew that we were having fun amongst the six of us. We had this little lingo and we created this little Samboner experience. And, with everything going on in 2020 with the pandemic and, the small businesses struggling, the local businesses struggling, we were like, dude, let's go push this out into the internet. It's a fun product. If we can get people to Sambone, maybe we got something, but at the very least, it's just an opportunity for anybody to get out there, express who they are, show your personality. There's a ton of characters out there. And as you can see, man, fast forward 2 years later, everybody's out there samboning and having a good time. And that just means the most to us.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable explanation. And it's, I think the one thing, and you and I have got to know each other, and the fans of, again, the Samboner show will find out that don't really know Mick, is like, he's really in this for all the right reasons. You're really in this for all the right reasons. Like when we talk, you're always about like, man, this is just awesome. Like you're just passion for this, right? Like it's just different when it's your kind of baby also. And then also like, I just love the feedback from the people. I love the videos from the people. I love the engagement. Like when we talk, you don't have the response like, yo, someone shouted me out today at a game. It's like, dude, they're shouting out the Samboners, like the group, like it's a pack, right? Almost like you're Portnoy and you're eating pizza on the side of the road and people go by when you watch his videos and they're like, yo, Barstool Sports, right? Like it's so.
Yeah. The funny thing too, it's interesting too, like, back in March of 2019, I think I probably had a Facebook account. My brother maybe had a Facebook account, like Kev, Pat, Drew, Mike, not huge on social media. I've always been a huge fan of Dave Portnoy, but by any means, this isn't like inspired by him. This is, something that we truly had a passion for from back in the early 2000s, like 2010, 11, like we're always out there eating sandwiches. And that's the beautiful part about Philadelphia. I mean, it is a sandwich town, right? Not even in Center City, South Philly, but the outskirts, South Jersey, North Jersey. I mean, we're all Samboners, Colin.
Keep on Samboning. No,
that's right.
We'll always talk about this, and I always will. Like the best steaks for me aren't even the ones in Philly. They're the ones in the Philly suburbs where I grew up eating cheesesteaks. Like going to your local pizza joint had like some of the best cheesesteaks you'd find, or that this place had the best Italian hoagies, or this place had the best, pork roll, egg, and cheese is on an everything bagel, like the greatest sandwich on planet Earth. That's my favorite. So no, there's lots to unpack here, but really, again, part of episode 0 and a part of you coming on my show is to just introduce our fans to you and the show. So I want to go back to your roots though, because I think this tells the story. Where are you from? Where did, your, passion for food being in Philadelphia and kind of start?
Yeah, no, I'm originally from Southampton. The core 6 of us are all from Southampton. Kev from Happero Horsham. He played football at Happero Horsham. The Dales played football at Archbishop Wood, like yourself. I played football at Archbishop Wood my freshman year. We all played Little League football for the Southampton Knights, Bucks County, through and through. And when we weren't playing football, we were hanging out at Taco Bell, man. Sambone and tacos and Mexi Melts.
Love it. I love it, man. That's great. That's great. Now, you have a lot of passion for the Jersey Shore too. Talk about, your time down there, Samboning and growing up down there eating.
Yeah, no, I have a long history of being in South Jersey. My dad's brother, Sam, a.k.a. Mickey, lives in Stone Harbor on 108th Street. My wife, Kathleen, her aunt and uncle bought a place about 15 years ago on 43rd Street. We happened to be kind of the number one guest there for many, many summers until we started to kind of blow the doors down with 3 kids. But they still, welcome us with open arms all the time. But and just recently, 4 or 5 years ago, we decided to take the plunge and we bought up on, middle of town by Kicks. And yeah, man, there's something about Sea Isle, right? It's like, I compare it to State College. Like everybody knows everybody. There's tons of camaraderie. Everybody just wants to hang out, have a good time, get to know one another. Every bar you walk into, it's just there's just that gravitation towards, wanting to get to know the person to your left, to your right. And I mean, that's like that all up and down the coast. But Sea Isle's got a special place in my heart, and I'll call it home for the rest of my life.
I love it, man. I love it. We are Jersey Shore folks too. Have a place in Cape May. and absolutely love it down there. Tons of places to Samboner, all but down the Jersey Shore. Got great food and great places that are open year round to Samboner. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people don't get that. The locals got to eat down there too.
How
Maybe
about
the places.
Voltaco's closing though, man? That was like the number one.
I know, man. I
It's
know.
a
That's a
sad
big
day.
blow. That's a sad day. Now, how does sports intertwine with the Samboners? Because it's ingrained. Like when you're, and we're going to do this on the show. This is part of episode 0, introducing what we're doing. We've talked about this before. We're going to talk about different towns. Sea Isle is going to have its own episode. Wildwood, Cape May, Bucks County, Doylestown, Hatboro. They're going to have their own shows, guys. Clearwater, Florida. If you're going to a Phillies game, we're going to have the area covered of where to eat, where to go have a drink, where you're going to Sambone, where the best cheesesteak is in the area. Can you get maybe a decent bagel somewhere that's not a normal bagel place? But it's going to be a little bit around sports, the culture of sports and food. But what does the Philly sports scene mean to you? Like, because for me, especially when I was at Temple, I missed it as a kid. My dad's not a diehard Eagles fan, so I didn't grow up a diehard Eagles fan. I support the team. I'm a big-time Flyers, Philly, Sixers fan. I just love the NFL in general, and it worked out, for me. But I remember at Temple, like, they would save me an Italian hoagie from Altamonte's because they would come down in an RV and, like, they would hide it in the RV for me. And, like, my buddy Moat would come out, like, under a shirt jacket, like he's pulling out, like, a lot of cash. Like LSU, they're handing you cash. But at Temple games, there's no cash, just Italian hoagies. And they're like, here you go, and here's your banana peppers on the side. Like, that is, to me, is like, I'm stopping at Wawa, I'm going here. Like, I'm all over the place per usual, and that's how I'll be forever hosting this show. What does the sports kind of sphere of Philly kind of mean to the Samboners? Because I don't think you can tell one story without the other.
Yeah, no, and it all helps it come together, right? Food is life, sports is life. The core 6 of us for the longest time always got together, whether it be here, sitting at my bar or up at Drew's house or Kev's house or whatever. But whoever was hosting the Phillies playoff game or the Eagles, Sunday afternoon game, it always came with, all right, what are we bringing? Are we going to go get wings at Mesquite Grill? Are we going to get wings at Union Jack's? Are we going to bring out Tomatis? Are we going to go to Sam's? Are we going to go to Silvio's? Maybe once in a while, head down to the city and get some fresh bread and make our own sandwiches. But the number one priority when it was time to get together and watch the game was, what are we eating? Right. I think at one point we did right around Thanksgiving, I went out and bought a deep fryer. And we deep fried a turkey, and my buddy Drew is like the man behind the deep fryer. I didn't even want to touch it, but we deep fried a turkey, and we went out and got fresh rolls and all the ingredients to make turkey gobblers, and just absolutely had ourselves a day. And they turned out to be unbelievable. And that was just one of those great days, right? We're making homemade Sambos and Samboning before we even knew what Samboners was, getting ready to kick off and watch the birds.
Yeah, that's fond memories for me too as a kid. Archbishop Wood High School, usually a big W than the night before. Had a late night after the game, come home, maybe a nap on the couch. And then, my pop, Big Dave, would have, we'd have the Italian hoagies lined up. We'd have the pizza lined up. Someone would be bringing over a specialty thing. And then my grandmom and my aunts and my mom and my dad and everyone would be cooking Italian food all day. Like, that's like, I told my wife for the bye week, I said, I just want to have like a Bucks, because we live in Annapolis, Maryland now. We have a place in Cape May. So we're kind of I'm not in Bucks anymore. Like, I just want to have a Bucks County night, just one night. Like, whatever that it means for me, that will just cleanse my soul for the bye week. And I'll be ready to return to work and finish the season strong.
Taste of home, man.
Yeah. Taste of home. So again, lots of directions here. What are you looking forward to about showing? What are you looking forward to showing from a perspective of, now we're going to be showing the Samboners to the world in a different way through a podcast, through a media platform? What are you looking forward to showing about the really just cool stuff that you guys are doing at the Samboners?
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, we're just trying to make light of the world, right? And if we can continue to make an impact on anyone out there that just wants to have a positive experience, get a couple laughs in, but most importantly, we're highlighting places that maybe nobody ever even heard of. Like, just recently, man, there was this place, Lilo's, just popped out of nowhere over in somewhat South Jersey. It was Hainesport, New Jersey. These guys came onto the scene 6 months ago, and they're absolutely slinging fire cheesesteaks. And, it's just like the buzz is there, but, hopefully my video will help that business catch another 1,000 people that never even heard about it and be like, oh shit, I got to go over to Hainesport, New Jersey and check out this cheesesteak joint, which happens to be one of the top cheesesteaks here in 2022. But, again, at the end of the day, like I've had a lot of feedback on, what Samboners is and where's it going, right? That's to be determined, right? But, at the end of the day, we're going to keep on Sambone. And, I always preach, like, everybody needs to keep on Sambone. And you have a personality. You are a character, right? If I don't throw you up on the big board, I'll put you in the story and we'll see what you got. But, just keep on doing it because it's fun, man. And everybody just has that ability to get on this platform and do it. Like, I'll lead it. I want to continue to, produce content and have fun with it. But if we can't continue to grow a community around us and bring everybody together and maybe use Samboners as the platform to do so, then, I'm not sure this has legs, but I don't think that's the case. I think that we all are in it to win it. And I think this is a great fun product to showcase who you are.
And the reason why I asked that question of what you're kind of going to showcase is I think the one thing that you guys do unbelievably, right, and you guys know this, but the outside world may not, is you're just continue to support local mom and pop. Like, these aren't chain restaurants, folks. Like, there's people that have family investment behind these places, like all these old timers. Like, yes, you're going to go to the popular places that are killing it and they're on a different level. Patch, Geno's, well, all of them, right? Steve's, they're on a different level. But
right.
The rest of them are kind of on the same level of just trying to make it and pay their bills and put a little money in their pocket for their one vacation a year. And so I think the support of local business, small business support is really, that's a pillar of what the Samboners are about. They may not talk about it. You guys may not talk about it, but here I am, and I'm in Key West, Florida, a place that we love to go to. And I'm at B.O.'s Fish Shack that's been there for probably 50 years. And I'm eating a cracked conch sandwich and just Samboning it. And I have people like, I love that place. I'm going to that place. Thanks for reminding me to go there. And then I'm at Miamichi and here in Charlotte, and I'm eating a Utica Greens. It's from Utica, New York. It's an Italian restaurant. They're based from upstate New York. And I'm eating this Utica Greens with freaking steak tip sandwich. That's unreal. And then I'm in San Diego, Samboning, eating a egg wrap and just nomming right on the beach.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm like, is it okay to do a Sambone if it's not a certain month? Can you explain that? Because you guys have certain months for certain things.
Yeah, no, good question. First and foremost, and we always joke about this amongst the six of us, there is no rules in Samboners, right? The post I dropped last night was a girl, Danielle, who found out about the page over the summer, and she came in with a chicken cutlet review. Little did she know it was Hot Roast Pork Month, but little did I care, right? But we are setting the bar by just kind of giving people direction, because that's the beauty, again, about Philadelphia and just, we truly are the sandwich capital of the world. And, aside from cheesesteaks, we're slinging hoagies, hot roast pork, chicken cutlets, and the list goes on and on. But the sandwich of the month just kind of brings it all together and gives everybody directions. I was close to running Cheesesteak Month back. I really was, because there was a lot of buzz there and there was a ton of gems unturned. But we'll have season 4, maybe in a couple months or a year from now. But we just, I feel like there's so many different style sandwiches out there. We can pay homage to a different one each month and really just kind of bring that all together that way.
No doubt. And there's so much. And on Philly, it's like ridiculous, the amount of Italian hoagies, breakfast sandwiches. I'm not saying a hot dog is a sandwich. Is a hot dog a sandwich, Mick?
Put me on the spot.
Controversial.
Between two buns. So I'm going to say yes.
I've been criticized many times before. I will say yes as well. It's between two buns. A hot dog, it's a hot dog.
But is a cheeseburger a sandwich?
Yes.
Okay.
Between two buns. I mean, is it not? It's just ground beef. It's just ground beef between two buns. If the steak was not ground up, it's a steak sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. It's all sandwich.
It's all sandwich. It's all sandwich. And you can Sambone a hot dog. There's a hot dog.
You can Sambone anything you want. I Sambone my jacket today, Colin. I mean, you could You know, my brother sandboned his pedicure one day. Like sandbone is the review, right? It's the ability to just get out there. And that's the thing, right? Like, yeah, we're foodies. Are we food critics? Sure. But like, do we know what we're doing? Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about having fun, right? And if you can instill some sort of positive experience by going down to South Philly and sharing that experience with everybody on this platform, that's all we're asking for. Like who you are, what you're all about, highlight the place, and have a day.
That's great, man. That's awesome. You had a really cool experience. Talk about having a day down in Philly, let's say a week ago, where you went to a certain pizzeria, cheesesteak place, hung out with some big wigs, did a couple Samboner. Can you tell us about that day?
That was a special day, Colin. You know, I reached out to the cuz Anthony Gargano. His son and my son play Little League baseball, and his son's I think a couple years younger. And we don't know each other too personally, but I spotted him at a local Little League facility, and I ran up to him and said, "Yo, cuz, what's up, man? It's Mickey." And he looked over and he like recognized me. I was like, "Oh shit, man, that's awesome!" Like, and we just started having a good conversation. And then, he'd say, let's do a Sambo one of these days. Let's do a cheesesteak review. I'm like, yeah, man, absolutely. And this was like a couple months back. But I knew I needed to shake it up a little bit. Like I was sick of just doing these reviews and it just being me. So I reached out to Gargano and said, hey, man, a lot of buzz around the Phillies. Would love to connect, do a little collaboration, drop a Sambo. Let's hit up a cheesesteak joint. And he got back to me like within 24 hours. And it's like, of course, brother, right? Of course, brother. And, I texted him the next morning. He gave me a shout, and we just started to rap about where we were going to review something. He had to be down in the sports complex around 6:00. So I said, like, let's do John's roast pork. He's like, you know what? Let's hit it big. Let's hit it big. Let's go to Angelo's. I'm like, dude, Angelo's is fine. I can reach out to Danny. Him and I are supposed to play golf, but dude's busier than all hell. So one thing led to the next. He reached out to Danny. I reached out to Danny, and Danny was like, come out at 4:00. So I'm thinking to myself, like, all right. Meet Gargano at Angelo's around 4:00. We'll do a little Samboner review. And those two dudes, man, as soon as they saw each other, it was like the rest was history. I'm like, I'm just going to follow these guys, do whatever they want to do. And before long, Danny was like, dude, guys, go upstairs. I'll start whipping up some cheesesteaks. You guys can do whatever you want, drop the tripod, run some film, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, man. So we go up there and we're just rapping. Danny's up there hanging out. His manager Jared's up there, and we're just shooting the shit, dude. Honestly, it was a very, very cool experience, and I didn't really know what to think of it because the whole time I'm thinking to myself like, all right, I'm gonna go down to South Philly, do a review with Gargano, maybe post up right outside of Angelo's, but no, that wasn't the case. We went upstairs, and Gargano had a different plan, which was awesome. We got Danny to get involved into the video, and the opportunity just to sit down with those guys for about an hour. We run tape for about 15, 20 minutes and just just talked about just all the positive, the positive, what am I trying to say here? Just like everything going on with Philadelphia sports, like your Birds are 8-0, the Phillies are on the World Series run, the Flyers were undefeated at the time, the Sixers are predicted to win the NBA championship. And here we are getting ready to drop a Samboner at Angelo's. And all we were just talking about, like, it was just like a gravitation towards just everything that we were talking about was like, man, it was an unbelievable experience just to be around such two influencers in Philadelphia that really, help everyone in this city pave the way, or they help pave the way, both sports and food related, and, putting me right in the middle of it. I'm the whole time I'm thinking to myself, like, this is fucking Samboner's right here. You got the king of sports, you got the king of cheesesteaks, and I'm in the middle of this, like, amen, right? I didn't say anything, man. It was 17 minutes long. I think I spoke like 3 sentences, and I didn't care. I loved it. I loved it, man.
That's the best interview, as you'll get into this. Like video questions like this, where you just boop, ask a question, and man, you are just hanging out for about an hour or whatever it may be, 17 minutes, and you're asking 2 questions, and those guys go off. And that's the Samboners, like you said. I think that's the best way to put it. It may take you 3-4 minutes to explain it, but that's another way to explain it to somebody of like, look where I'm sitting. I started an Instagram page a year or so, 2 years ago. I'm in a group text with 6 of my buddies and family, and we're BSing, talking about food and drinks and hanging out and travel and whatever and sports. And here I am 2 years later, sitting between really royalty and Philly when it comes
Yeah.
to food and sports. And in Philly, it's so unique. It's so tied together. This will be nationwide, folks. The Samboner Nation. We are taking this across the country. Mick's been taking it across the country. We're going to help them do that as best we can. And, you know, I think at the bottom line really is like, Samboner out, man. That's the bottom line. That's the story of it all. So as we move forward, I think, and you can fill in the blanks here, what for people to expect. I think people can expect having just a good time listening to the show, right? I think they're going to hear from Samboner OGs. They're going to learn about Samboner slang. They're going to learn about just getting out and getting after it and the positive vibe tribe that you guys really have too, because there's almost like your shrink element here. Like, go, everybody can Sambone, just keep going, keep pushing. Right. It's not like, hey, I'm just gonna eat a sandwich and do a review. It's like, there's a positivity to that. So you're expecting some positivity. You're going to hear some really cool guests. We have some guests already lined up that are big wigs in the food industry, cheesesteak industry, stuff like that. Really, the sky's the limit, because you're going to have athletes come on and talk about food, their restaurants, their businesses, what they like to eat the day before games, what's their cheat meals. I mean, that's kind of how I see it going. We're going to work on getting Mick down to Clearwater for spring training and just get down there and just Sambone and interact with fans and have events. And I think the sky's the limit for it. I think our plan would be too, and over the summer, to have a big Samboner event at a location down the Jersey Shore when everybody's kind of down there in June, July, kids, families, friends. What am I missing, man? Is that
No,
it?
that's it, man. You know, you just touched on it, like kids and family, right? Like the you know, the inspiration behind all of this is family, right? You know, my kid, he's 12 years old. He was so jealous that I was starting up a podcast and that he's not on it, right?
He's coming on it.
The kid can Sambone with the best of them, but you know, Samboners, you know, just over the weekend, and this shit touches me, man. I don't know what it is, but like 2 stories, like just over the weekend, someone sent me a video of their 1-year-old taking a bite, like, you know, like that, like they're training their kids to take a look, take a bite. You know, during one of the World Series games, I had like a 75-year-old couple come up to me and were like, "Oh my God, it's the Samboner. What's up?" Like 2 big hugs from these guys. And I'm like, holy shit, man. We got them small. We got them, we got everything, man. You know, young, old, right in the middle. Like everybody needs to get out there and Sambone. And if you can't, keep on trying.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, guys, the Samboners will be available on all social media platforms. You can listen to the podcast on all podcast platforms, wherever you get them: Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. They're all over now. We're going to be big on YouTube as well. You're going to be able to visibly see the vast majority of the interviews. You know, just really jacked to have the Samboner Show join us here at Not For Long Media. But again, Mick, I can't thank you for coming on my show, the Colin Thompson Show. I can't thank you enough for joining Not For Long Media. And I think the Samboner is going to be a freaking awesome match, man.
Fun days ahead, man. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Well, that does it for this episode of the Colin Thompson Show. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Guys, please check the Samboner Show out. It is coming extremely, extremely soon. November 8th, we're recording right now. I expect it within the week. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Mick. And Samboner out.
Samboner out.